So Samsung's Galaxy A71, Note 10 Lite, and S10 Lite are three of the latest mid-range smartphone offerings from Samsung, which all offer an excellent user experience for a fraction of the cost over their flagship counterparts. In this head-to-head video, we are going to see which of these stack up to be the better buy and find out which is right for you. Let's get started. So starting with the most important aspect of these more affordable offerings, price. At the time of this video, the Galaxy A71, which comes in white, pink, teal, and this prism black color shown here, is around $365, which is some serious value for your money. And the S10 Lite and Note 10 Lite come in at around $470, which is also a good value for your money considering their additional features. These each have their own great color options to choose from as well, including this prism blue for the S10 Lite and the Aura Glow for the Note 10 Lite. All three phones come packed with 128 gigabytes of storage and 6 or 8 gigabytes of RAM, depending on the configuration. This pricing continues to drop over time, so be sure to check out the links in the description for the most up-to-date prices. Now, at first glance, it may look like there isn't all too much different between the A71, S10 Lite, and Note 10 Lite, and that's because we do have a very similar overall approach here, with all three offering an identically sized 6.7-inch Super AMOLED or Super AMOLED Plus display, a 4500 milliamp hour battery, a nice array of cameras well suited for 2020 smartphone standards, and Samsung's latest One UI 2.0 or 2.1, which has been a great software experience on all Samsung devices I have used from budget to flagship. But when picking these up, we begin to feel and notice some physical differences between the three, starting with the weight and thickness. There may not appear to be much of a difference when simply looking at a spec sheet or seeing a side-by-side visual like the one shown here, but from my personal experience, the Note 10 Lite is undoubtedly the heaviest and thickest of the bunch here, while the Galaxy A71 feels much lighter in comparison. It's worth mentioning though that this lighter finish comes at the cost of some durability, as the A71 is built with a plastic frame, opposed to the Note 10 Lite and S10 Lite's aluminum sidings, which definitely provide more support. After dropping both my A71 and S10 Lite on the sidewalk from around waist height onto their corners, the S10 Lite did get scuffed, but overall it took the hit much better than my A71, which now feels like it has a divot and left a bit of a dent in my phone after dropping it, and another hit in the same spot could be more problematic to the structural integrity of the phone. With that said, the S10 Lite is my favorite out of the three from a physical standpoint, considering it's only ever so slightly thicker and heavier than the lightweight A71, while also sporting that aluminum frame similar to the Note 10 Lite for added durability, giving it the best overall feel. It's just a shame that the best feeling phone here has a physical limitation with the lack of a headphone jack, opposed to the Note 10 Lite and A71, which both pack the jack. Aside from these differences though, the A71, S10 Lite, and Note 10 Lite all have a lot of small things going right for them that anyone looking to purchase one of these phones will certainly enjoy. From the small and non-intrusive hole punch cutout for the front-facing camera, to the very slim bezels, and the amazing colors these phones put off in the right light. A side-by-side look here with something like the Galaxy S20 Plus, and it may be difficult to see how this phone costs nearly as much as all three of the phones in this video combined at $1,200. So then what's missing here on these mid-rangers to get them to their more affordable price points? It's less than you might think. Starting in the rear, we have a glass-backed design, which is a highly polished plastic opposed to glass we've been used to seeing on higher-end phones for the last few years. While at first glance this may appear to be a knock against these phones, the majority of my viewers have pointed out that they actually prefer this glass-stick build over glass, so they don't have to worry about the back of their phones shattering if dropped. You will also see and hear most YouTube tech reviewers talk about glass-backed phones feeling, quote, more premium, and any other material feeling cheaper in comparison. But after using these glass-stick-backed phones for more than 3 months now, the overall feel is very solid, and honestly, most people put a case on their phone anyway, which is included in the box with all of these, so there's really no need to worry about this. A more legitimate and understandable cause for worry from consumers is the lack of IP water and dust resistance certifications on these phones, but a lack of official certification doesn't mean these phones can't handle a bit of bad weather or a few of life's many accidents. Many of my viewers have reached reached out on previous videos to share their personal experiences with their phones coming in contact with water, and in the majority of cases, your phone can still handle some abuse and has a good chance of making it out alive in many situations. So, with the stage set for the A71, S10 Lite, and Note 10 Lite, what are the main differences between these phones and what makes them stand out over one another? The biggest difference on paper you will find is the processor used in each device. The Galaxy S10 Lite has last year's flagship processor, Snapdragon 855. The Note 10 Lite is using a processor first seen in the Galaxy Note 9 and S9, the Exynos 9810, and the A71 is housing a Snapdragon 730, which is a mid-range chipset released in 2019. Now, while spec sheets and generic benchmark testing may show big differences between these processors, day-to-day average usage of these devices has showed me good performance from all of these chipsets. Even if you intend to use your phone for more intensive tasks like gaming, the A71 has handled all of the games I have thrown at it, including Battle Royale on Call of Duty Mobile with high graphical settings. Overall, the S10 Lite and Note 10 Lite will play games a bit smoother, and they do have an upper hand in general navigation and opening and closing of apps over the A71, but these are differences I only noticed in direct side-by-side comparisons. An area where I noticed more of a difference, to my surprise, was in battery life. Even though these all carry the same battery capacity of 4,500 milliamp hours, I found the S10 Lite to have the best battery life of all three, thanks to its superior processor. In my use case, I usually find myself with around 50% battery remaining at the end of the day on my S10 Lite, making it an official 2-day battery phone for moderate to heavy users, whereas the Note 10 Lite and A71 are coming in at around a day and a half of battery life. The S10 Lite also supports 45-watt super fast charging, Samsung's fastest charging technology currently on the market. Its main appeal is quickly getting you to a 70% charge in just 30 minutes time, but the 45-watt adapter is sold separately and will run you an additional $35. The 25-watt charger included in the box of all three phones still charges very quickly, getting you to 50% in just 30 minutes, and back to a full 100% not much later than the 45-watt charger does. You can expect very fast charging on all of these phones, and in my opinion, it is a significant step up over the previous generation 15-watt fast charging. Looking at the cameras, we will also find some noticeable differences, which may determine which phone you ultimately get depending on how much you use the camera on your smartphone and what you use it for. The Note 10 Lite and S10 Lite definitely have an upper hand as their cameras are equipped with optical image stabilization, and the S10 Lite takes it a step further with super steady optical image stabilization. Here is a recording of me running with the S10 Lite with super steady turned off, and then a similar recording but with the super steady turned on. For someone like me with pretty shaky hands, this is a greatly appreciated feature. Even if you won't be running around with your phone's camera out, you can still take advantage of this in your day-to-day videos and photos. All of these phones take good photos with their strong primary lenses alongside an ultra-wide lens, and in the case of the A71 and S10 Lite, we have a macro lens for really close-up shots, but honestly, I've only ever used this camera mode once or twice over the last few months. The Note 10 Lite instead opts for a 2x telephoto lens, which may be more user-friendly, and ultimately ends up being my favorite camera setup of these three phones, considering the optical image stabilization, the three main cameras you need from a smartphone in 2020, and being laid out in what I believe is the least intrusive camera module yet to be seen in 2020. And on that note, this is a great time to tell you to not sleep on the Note 10 Lite, even though the A71 and S10 Lite have gotten most of the attention in this video up to this point. It may not have the lowest price or boast the best processor and battery life in this comparison, but it makes up for that with its smaller hole punch cutout on the display, a headphone jack which doesn't exist on the S10 Lite, and of course the addition of the S Pen. The experience with the S Pen has been no different for me compared to using it with the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, and overall, in my opinion, it enables you to get a lot more out of your smartphone if that's what you're after. Between easily selecting portions of your screen, to extracting text from screenshots, to seamlessly highlighting text and quickly turning it into a Google search, to playing games with more precise presses, the same great S Pen experience is here on the Note 10 Lite, which is a win for consumers who cannot afford the more expensive flagship Note devices. So, which of these phones is right for you? If you're looking for the best value for your money while still getting a great overall smartphone experience, the Galaxy A71 is your choice. At just $365, you are getting a lot of flagship features at a mid-range price. Now, this does come at the expense of some structural integrity with its plastic frame finish, but all other things considered, this may not matter to all consumers out there. If you're after the best performance, best battery life, in addition to a stronger build and some additional camera features, then the S10 Lite is your choice. In my initial review video of the S10 Lite, I concluded by saying that when the price drops on this phone, then it is going to be an excellent value, and that time is here and now. Now priced at around $470, down from its original price of $650, you're getting a lot of phone here for your money. I honestly think this phone should have been named the Galaxy S20 Lite, as it seems to have more in common with the Galaxy S20 lineup opposed to the Galaxy S10 line, but I think that S10 Lite naming ultimately provides a more friendly price tag for consumers, with it carrying a name from Samsung's previous generation phones. And if you're after getting the most out of your smartphone experience, then the Note 10 Lite is the phone for you. This really has everything you need for a do-it-all device and isn't priced too much higher than the Galaxy A71 at $470. You do sacrifice a bit of spec sheet performance and some battery life compared to the S10 Lite as well, but the gain of the smaller hole punch cutout, headphone jack, and S Pen more than well make up for it. But what's your choice between the Galaxy A71, Note 10 Lite, and S10 Lite? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up. And please consider subscribing to the Shane Simons YouTube channel today, as only around 2% of you are currently subscribed to the channel. So make sure to do that and hit the bell icon for notifications to see more videos like the one you just watched. I hope to see you guys around for the next video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.